Did you know that ankylosaurs had air conditioning inside of their skulls? So something completely different from the usual facts that you hear about their armor or their tails, and what the air conditioning was their nasal passages, and that their nasal passages were incredibly long. In the genus Euplocephalus, it was almost twice as long as the skull itself. And so because it was this long, it was all twisted up inside of their skull, almost like a crazy straw. Could you imagine having nasal passages like crazy straws? But the reason why these nasal passages were there was to be able to cool them down, because large animals like ankylosaurs have a problem of that they get overheated. And when they get overheated, that can actually damage the brain, so they needed to cool that blood down before it got to the brain. And these blood vessels were near the surface of the skin inside of the nasal passage. And so when they would breathe in cooler air, there would be a heat exchange between the overheated blood vessels and that cooler air to basically cool the blood vessels down. On top of that, there was also moisture inside of that nasal passage. And just like when we sweat, that evaporation of the moisture helps cool them down. So they had both of this process, and then the air inside turned from cool and dry to basically hot and had a lot of moisture to it, and it helped cool down those blood vessels. And that is the air that they breathed in. And then when they exhaled, there was actually an additional process of moisture recycling. So they actually put moisture back onto the skin of the nasal passage. Now, why would they do that, right? Why would you make it more humid? That doesn't make sense. Wouldn't that overheat it? Well, they're actually, like I said, recycling the moisture. They were putting that back so then that moisture could be re-evaporated again on the next breath. And this was important because if they constantly just used up all that moisture, they would always have to be drinking water to be able to replace that moisture for it to then evaporate. So by this recycling system, they didn't have to be constantly drinking water so that they could actually cool everything down. So I just think that's like a really cool process. And honestly, I kind of wish that I had air conditioning nostrils. As you can see, it's summer and I'm outside filming this and it's a bright day, so I'm hot. And so I would love to have air-conditioned nostrils. You might be like, then why are you wearing a leather jacket? Because it goes with the outfit and it looks cool. So I have to wear the jacket.